going back to the Model 3, Tom, your data had showed that it has the highest owner loyalty in the business.
Yes.
I think at the time you said overall year to date, when you made your presentation, it was close to 60% owner loyalty, and that in March it pegged the needle at 76.6% loyalty rate.
I know.
We've never seen numbers like that.
No, you're right. The national make loyalty number is right now is between 50 and 51. So no, it's extraordinary. So what you're seeing is, and frankly, this is very scary for the other manufacturers, is you're seeing not only a lot of people buying Teslas, but they're staying with it. They're getting another one. They're staying right with it. So no, I mean, the brand though, the Tesla brand make loyalty in May, it was higher than any other luxury brand. And the numbers, if you think about the actual retail reg numbers, in that compact luxe sedan segment, traditionally year after year after year, it was either the C-Class or the 3 Series. Now it's not just that the Model 3 is number one. I mean, Model 3 will outsell the C-Class by a ratio of 4-1. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's just not that it's winning, but it is leaving the others way behind, to be candid with you.
Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Quick shout out to my newest patron, RJD. Thank you for choosing to support the channel. Something to think about with this new possible EV tax credit. So even though it's terrible that so much money could be going to plug-in hybrids with small batteries, you have to remember, if this EV tax credit incentivizes companies like Toyota, Ford, maybe GM in the future to spend more time building and engineering for plug-in hybrids, it's only going to delay their innovation when it comes to full BEVs, which we already know are going to win in the end. It's just a matter of time. So if this is passed and the language stays the same, could this turn out to be a trap for legacy automotive? Don't forget, plug-in hybrids are indeed different than regular hybrids. Plug-ins, of course, have a plug to recharge the battery, where just hybrid vehicles recharge with regenerative braking. Also, with plug-in hybrids, the main source of power is usually the battery, whereas in regular hybrids, the main source of power is usually the internal combustion engine. This storyline needs more attention. A recent study of 9,000 vehicles found that the real-world fuel consumption from plug-in hybrids was 2.5 to 5 times higher than what's approximated under official lab testing, because many plug-in hybrid owners don't actually plug in their vehicles. The reasons for that phenomenon vary, but it looks like in the UK and Germany, they're getting it figured out as plug-in hybrid activity has been slowing. In the UK, they eliminated purchase subsidies for plug-in hybrids in 2018, and Germany just announced last week that they're ending plug-in hybrid subsidies this year. They're just inferior vehicles from almost every perspective. They're more complicated to manufacture, they're more expensive to manufacture. In the real world, they're less reliable from a consumer standpoint, and a lot of consumers really aren't even taking advantage of the battery portion of these hybrids. If we look at this data from Cox Automotive, this is both hybrids and plug-in hybrids. However, as you can see, this far right column for year-to-date market share, doing the math down at the bottom, Toyota makes up 50% of the entire hybrid and plug-in hybrid market. And yes, Ford is indeed in the mix with around a 10% market share of the hybrid space. Right now, GM is not actually making plug-in hybrids, but it will be very interesting to watch if they start if this EV tax credit bill is passed. So I know this part of the bill is very frustrating, but don't forget that silver lining that it could distract legacy auto from producing full battery electric vehicles, which in the long run is only going to increase Tesla's lead. Rob at Tesla Daily took the time to put the puzzle pieces together. The short answer is that this bill seemingly is not retroactive. I definitely would have needed a few extra hours to figure this one out confidently, so shout out to Rob. This is a table of Tesla's direct battery mineral suppliers. Only 2 countries on this list are in the free trade agreements with the United States. Those 2 would be Australia, which they have deals with Albemarle, Glencore, and BHP, and of course Canada is also on the list, to which Tesla has a deal with Vale. So right now, Tesla has 4 different direct suppliers that it may need to be working with more in the years to come to continually take advantage of these EV tax credits. This brings me to my point though. how are they going to audit or approve this? When you think about hundreds of different EVs being offered, the mineral supply chain is one of the most complex things out there. So for the government to somehow fully determine all of the percentages and what vehicles hit all of these requirements, I'm just confused as to how they're actually going to do that accurately. Ultimately, I think there will have to be an ongoing updated list from the government of what vehicles would qualify, because there's zero chance the consumer will be able to figure any of this out. Munro came out with a new video praising Tesla's Giga casting techniques. Now, we've been over the benefits of this for months now, so I don't want to belabor these points, but Sandy did say,
"This is the way to go. This is my all-time favorite structural members inside of any vehicle that I've seen so far. I'm really happy with it. If you do happen to break a casting, it can be TIG welded back together." Oh no, that's contrary to popular belief. I'm not popular. So all I can tell you is that this is the right way to do business. And the reason for that is because it saves the company hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions of dollars.
Corey also mentioned how the body sides of the new Model Y are now hot stamped steel, which are much stronger than prior iterations. The new ones are also much less complicated to manufacture, so Tesla is rethinking all parts of the vehicle. At the end of the video, Sandy had this to say.
Yeah, the last thing I'd like to say is many people know that Herbert Dietz got sacked over at VW. I personally think that he was the best thing they had at VW. If you happen to be looking for a new executive to run your company, I think Herbert is going to become available in September.
A German source is saying that today around 700 unemployed people have been placed at Giga Berlin. There were job seekers and unsolicited applicants. There was a total of about 1,200 people who were placed at Giga Berlin. So Berlin's still looking for more employees, including locksmiths, mechanical engineers, and industrial mechanics. I actually get this question a lot from friends and family, and I really like Elon's response to the question, is global warming real? He said it would be unwise to risk that it is not. I think it's important to add some context to these Elon tweets. He said inflation might be trending down. This does not mean prices are going down. This just means the rate of inflation, which is price increases, is slowing down. So prices could still be going up, just at a lower rate. The actual technical term for what Elon is referring to here is disinflation. That refers to the rate of inflation trending down. Don't get it confused with deflation, which is when prices are actually going down. So inflation and deflation are opposites. Disinflation is kind of in the middle. Some encouraging news here, as he says, more Tesla commodity prices are trending down than up for what it's worth. Now, this is actually referring to prices coming down because he's not talking about inflation, he's just talking about the actual commodity prices going down. That would be deflation of those commodities. And the $70,000 question, are prices for a Tesla going to increase? Elon said, too early to say for sure. You may remember back on July 15th, Elon said, if inflation calms down, if we see disinflation, we can lower prices for cars. Not meaning they will, just that they could. The issue with that, reality is far more nuanced. Look at some of these price influences for Tesla prices that could either drive prices up or down. For price increases, we have some commodity prices that are still going up, but we don't know which and to what degree. We have demand continuing to increase just in general, which could be heightened with these new EV tax credits. Internally, Tesla will always have the desire to continually drive higher margins as a publicly traded company, and with that extra cash, they can of course grow the business faster, which is in line with its mission. And as Tesla continues to offer better products with better technology, specifically more FSD capability, the price of FSD will of course go up. Now, simultaneously, there's all these other factors that are also at play to some degree for prices being driven down. some commodity prices are going down, so input costs are lower. Tesla's production is ramping, so as there's more supply, more availability, that supply-demand balance will come back into balance and would give Tesla the ability to lower prices. Of course, the possibility of these EV tax credits will directly lower the cost of some Tesla vehicles for consumers. Things like continued engineering efficiencies, think about the Giga, which continue to drive down manufacturing costs. Tesla also has the desire to push forward sustainable energy. To do that, cars have to be affordable to some degree, and they obviously want to provide a good value to customers. And of course, potential implications of a weaker economy, a recession. The consumer could be weaker with all of the layoffs, higher inflation, and less disposable income for the average consumer. So as far as what to expect for Tesla prices, the point here is that this equation is constantly changing and evolving. It's way more complicated, and we just don't have all of the data to confidently say which way prices are going to go because we don't know the ultimate weight of these factors. For what it's worth, I do not think Tesla will lower prices of cars until demand is much closer to the production capacity. So if wait times start to get to a more reasonable place, 1 to 2 months instead of sometimes up to a year, then there's a better chance that Tesla actually lowers prices. But until we get to that point, I personally will not be holding my breath to see lower prices. Now, yes, maybe the EV tax credit gives us a small window to grab a Model Y or a Model 3 rear-wheel drive at a discount, but if a bunch of new demand flows in, then they're probably going to raise the prices and Tesla will ultimately pocket that cost increase. Update on FSD Beta 10.13, Elon said, "We're working super hard on it, but it is not ready yet." GM is saying reservations for the 2023 Chevy Silverado are now over 150,000. Hummer EV reservations have also ticked up, currently sitting at 80,000. And great news for GM if true, but 65% of these reservations are for new GM clients. GM is also raising some capital to the tune of $2.25 billion in the form of green bonds. The longest maturity bond in this offering is a 10-year, and they're saying it's offering 2.95 percentage points above comparable treasuries, which would be around 2.6% for the 10-year treasury right now. At $2.25 billion, this is the second largest green deal from a US corporation outside of the financial sector, according to Bloomberg. GM said the proceeds will be used exclusively for clean transportation solutions like investments for design, development, or manufacture of clean transportation. Should be noted that Ford and Honda have also sold some of these green bonds as of late. For my fellow F1 fans, it looks like Porsche's push into F1 is closer than ever, and we get some leaked documents. Porsche's plan is to buy half of Red Bull technology, which you may know is currently leading the Constructors' Championship this year. However, a final decision has yet to be made. Plenty of details to be finalized, but Porsche and Red Bull could reach an official agreement by the end of the summer. So let me know who your favorite current F1 driver is and why, if you're a fan. Last up today, for the month of June in Europe, Tesla Model Y in the #1 spot in terms of registrations, and it's not really that close. The Model Y 16,700, followed in second by the Fiat 500e at 7,300. So amid all of the confusion around this EV tax credit, just remember that Tesla's most popular vehicle, the Model Y, which is soon to become the global best-selling vehicle of any kind, is most likely squarely in the mix for a $7,500 tax credit for 10 years. Yes, I know, unless a new administration comes in or prices go up, there are plenty of things that could change, but you get the picture. That'll do it for today. Please take a second to like the video if you did. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.